absolutely, man. But you know what? You can never get too much advice. And that's where we are lucky, because we have people like Nikki Bush. She's our parenting expert. And we're sitting down with her this morning because we know that, being a parent can be one of the most stressful things around, because you have that little life in your hands. So she's helping us this morning to prep your child for the years ahead.
Now, the 21st century is marked by complexity and rapid change, with the ever-growing necessity for sophisticated technology skills being required for employment. But are you, as a parent, doing enough to prepare your child for the ever-evolving demands of the future? Well, joining us in studio to answer that very important question and also to share some tips on how to properly equip your child is creative parenting expert Nikki Bush. And I think a topic that is very important to all parents, because of course we all want our kids, whether now or in the future, to be ready for their own personal futures, right?
You're so right, Kat, and that's one of the reasons why I wrote my book Future Proof Your Child, which has just hit 10,000 copies of sales, actually.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Congratulations.
So we are sitting in a situation where we're living through history. The fourth industrial revolution has officially been announced. So at the World Economic Forum in January this year in Davos, it was announced that this change, this disruptive change that technology is bringing now has this official name, the fourth industrial revolution. We've lived through three others. We had mechanization, then we had mass production, and then we had automation of production. Now we're living through an era where cyber systems are being created. And this industrial revolution is going to happen way faster than the previous ones did, because of the accessibility and the cheapness of technology, which means that change will happen quicker and deeper than it ever has before.
I can already see so many parents at home pulling out their notebooks. So what do we do now? So what are those parenting strategies that you need to implement to ensure that your child is future-proof?
Firstly, you can no longer prepare the path for the child, because that path is fast changing. With the disruptive nature of technology, we are going to see the rise of industries and the fall of industries, which means the kinds of jobs our children will do are going to be very, very different. So you might not want to be just a doctor in the future. You might want to be a doctor engineer who can fit robotic body parts. You might be a brain download specialist. You may be a vertical farmer growing food up the side of buildings. Everything is going to change. So without a doubt, we need to instill what I call X factors for success in our children. They need to be able to think out of the box. They need to be very adaptable. They need to be resilient. They need to love learning, because if things are going to change very quickly, which we anticipate they will, they have to keep learning, unlearning and relearning for their whole lives in order to stay relevant in the workplace. They need to know themselves well, and they need to know how to collaborate and be a team player. Because whatever we do in life, we don't travel alone. We work with people virtually, or in the real world, we work with people. And if things are going to change very quickly, we need our kids to be incredibly adaptable and incredibly flexible, because as one job shuts down, another will be created, and you're going to have to adapt what you already know to the new circumstances. So change is going to be the new normal. The word temporary is a very important word moving forward.
So what then do you do as a parenting team, or perhaps as a single mom or single dad at home, do to ensure that your child is adaptable? What are those small skills that they need to start learning now at a very early age?
So adaptability is an interesting one. We are moving kids from school to school. So when they move from preschool to primary school to high school, if they're going to different schools, they're learning the skill of adaptability. Because that's big change when you move schools. Children who are staying in the same school for 12 years don't have as big a change, and they don't learn that skill as deeply as children who have to move. So, sometimes you have parents who say, we moved house quite often, or we moved countries quite often. Maybe it was a bad thing. It could have challenged your children in some areas, but in other areas could have made them very adaptable and very flexible. So there's always learning around, and a lot of what our children need to learn, those X factors, are not taught to the test. They're not taught in books and lessons. They are taught through life. Our children are watching us. We are their role models. We are the hidden curriculum. And we need to be role modeling those X factors for success, because children absorb them by watching us.
Wow, and we thought it was difficult growing up. Being a parent, having to figure it all out for you is even more challenging. But we'll continue our conversation with creative parenting expert Nikki Bush a little bit later on, so stay tuned.